maybe pull out that quad tank sort of death ball. I think the one thing they can actually fall back on here that we didn't see on Hollywood would be color hex on the Widowmaker, and I think that's maybe got to be the way they do go on their offense, because right now they've got to consider, okay, everything else we have, NoC Predators have been able to deal with.
Right, I guess the one thing that we do want to point out here is that if you draw a map, the team who lost the previous map does get to pick the next map again. So this would be NoC Predators' pick, which is why Masterminds have had the opportunity to go on defense, and that's what they've taken here. No Widowmaker, though.
Not for the time being. And also NoC Predators, again, gates aren't open, nothing set in stone, but looks like they're maybe going to try and give Masterminds a taste of their own medicine with that quad tank. You know, running the Moira, the Lucio.
Wouldn't that be salt in the wound?
And Masterminds aren't really running with a whole ton of spam damage to maybe knock out one of those two healers as they barrel their way to the point. Like, that's one of the things you can often do with this team comp. You know, when you're against that quad tank, you do see things like using Halt to try and lift the Reinhardt shield and maybe snipe through someone on the back line. Masterminds are not really running a team comp that does that. They have to deal with this in very different ways and, in my opinion, very uncomfortable ways.
Well, we called for close games, and we certainly got it last time around. Let's see what Horizon Lunar Colony will do. NoC Predators going to push out here with all of the tanks on attack to start things off, and around to the right they go. This has been a pretty good push so far. Everyone getting through unscathed now for NoC Predators, and there we go. Trying to get onto the point, pushing forward. Reinhardt going through early as well. Still alive, Color Hex losing half his life onto the point is where they go now. Still, everyone looking very strong here for NoC Predators. No one goes down. Nellery drops. Yeah, Ninja gets that frag, and that's a pretty big deal. Kiki almost going down as well. Taki's gone down. NoC Predators should grab this point.
They have got aesthetic, though. If they could at least get Special Kid, then maybe they could kind of pull the rug out from under these tanks. But without, they do actually get him right at the end. Color Hex really trying to make that one work for them. And actually, that may just be enough if he maybe stalls it out long enough for Masterminds to re-enter. But it is risky business. Going in with the Dragon Blade now, acknowledging that those healers cannot top up. But the charge! That was sick from Oily. And that does mean that Masterminds are kind of in a tight spot if they really want to turn this one back around. The tanks are low enough that it could well still be possible. And actually, I like that they may be backing off, at least till the Coalescence can come out here. Transcendence, though, out from Candace to match it. And now they're just back to jostling on the point. This time, however, it is NoC Predators on the back foot. We see that represented in them getting beaten back and maybe now wishing they hadn't committed the Coalescence, but coming up to a commanding run of ultimates in their own right.
Yeah, that looked like maybe if they dropped back there, they would have been in an okay position. They won a few fights. The Dragon Blade had already been used, and you could bring in, with that Coalescence, a little bit later on. Unfortunately, not to be the case. They've thrown them out. Now Masterminds sitting on 3 ultimates, 3 useful ultimates as well. And it feels like potentially this has cost NoC Predators another 90 seconds or so. We'll see how this push goes, but it's going to be much more difficult than what we expected to see before and what could have been. Now, the ultimate's slowly starting to stack up for NoC. I want to see where this Graviton surge comes out.
Yeah, this time Ninja doesn't quite have the same, 50, 60, 70 charge he had last time. Now able to get it very quickly, though. They don't quite get the closeout for the grab, but they get the members low. Kiki has to use the self-destruct to preserve the mech, the Earth Shatter. Oh, Kiki just turns it around single-handedly after all those ultimates were committed out of NoC as well. And that was just to preserve the mech, just because Kiki had taken all the damage in that grab. He was not expecting a 3K there, but the team took it and ran with it.
Yeah, it's not how you normally see all the frags coming out of the self-destructs go, but sometimes right place, right time, everyone caught up there on the point and slowing things down once again. What was potentially a very good start here for NoC Predators now starting to slow down. 110 on the clock. Ninja would love to try and win this 1v1, but not going to get the opportunity for now.
Not this time.
Not this time. Color Hex ready with the Dragon Blade. I am ready for some big plays here out of Color Hex. Just holding out.
Oily.
Coalescence going to come out here once again. Color Hex ready, waiting. Not yet. Not yet. There we go. Dragon Blade time. Will the Coalescence go down? Still pushing through. Everyone's still alive. Sinai almost picked up. NoC almost picked up. Ninja still slightly alive, but Masterminds losing players one at a time. Candace is now done. This makes life much more difficult. Taki pushing through, but you can see them losing player after player. The NoC Predators all still alive. This is looking great.
And that was, yeah, like almost getting these members down, but the sound barrier with the Coalescence was just enough. However, it's not translated to more ticks on the point. And Masterminds have now regrouped, getting back in with their own ultimates. Nellery, though, dead late in the fight. No one dead just yet from NoC. Special Kid is slowly floating his way back towards that one. Color Hex isolated now from his team, as is Dalsu. These are squishy members that NoC Predators should have no trouble picking off, and now they should be able to translate it into a full cap out. Good work, though, by Masterminds to make that close and now force it all the way into... In fact, it's not even secured just yet. Taki should go down, and that should be that third at long last, but they drew all the time off the clock as physically possible from NoC Predators there.
It's literally as well as it can go and still lose the point.
Yeah, but like actually literally yes.
Yeah, so not so bad, not so bad, considering how that started and considering how close NoC Predators were to picking this up to kick things off. You can see, though, the ultimates are now in favor of NoC Predators. 3 here ready to go, with Aesthetic going down and Sinai now almost being picked up as well. This should slow things down. It looked like maybe they might get in there nice and early, but Masterminds do manage to force them out.
They got Kiki's mech, which is, I suppose, something he doesn't really want to have to change off to reset that. He's just going to try and do it the old-fashioned way with the Bunny Blaster. NoC Predators, they have some useful ultimates here, but I don't know if they're really the ideal ones to really close this out hard. They don't have a massive ultimate advantage. Actually, Kiki is going to go ahead and swap back. He recognizes he needs the mech back more about now.
Yeah, having a mech is definitely
preferable.
It is. It's like trying to catch the bus instead of having a car. Life's a lot easier when you've got a mech. So,
exactly.
Battle breaks out. There's the Dragon Blade. Straight away, Aesthetic goes down. That's handy, but straight away, traded back as well. Noz, a Dragon Blade of his own.
Candace should be able to stall. Actually, does not stall. Dead too quickly. Nice Pulse Bomb, though, right onto Sinai's mech, but it's not enough to kill it. That being said, there is now extra damage coming in, and this is where the respawns really start to pay off. It was a little bit dicey there, and I was maybe wondering if Candace should have committed the Transcendence just to ensure that he could stall for his teammates, but luckily Taki was able to do the work. And just shy of a third, NoC Predators are going to get beaten back.
They will indeed. 2:15 now on the clock. Still lots of time to work with. Oily going to get forced back as well. They would love to find a pick here, but the reality is, even if you can find a pick all that way out as the attacker here on Horizon Lunar Colony, by the time you get onto the point, that person's probably respawned. They literally roll out of bed and they're on the point.
And you don't want to overextend either. You don't want to go that deep for a pick and then suddenly go, oh wait, I'm by their spawn and they've surrounded me. Now just looking to kind of gear up for the next push. NoC Predator's looking really lean now on ultimates. And an early pick onto Ninja as well just buys more time for Masterminds to bank up their own ultimates where NoC can't really do anything. That ended up being a really disjointed offense that has all but burned time off the clock for NoC.
And at the same time, it's been feeding ultimates into Mastermind's pockets here. So a difficult situation from NoC Predators. They have probably 2 and a bit, maybe, fights left. They have a lot of work to do. They have a lot of ultimates they need to burn. They're not looking like they're in a great spot. They had a good start. I feel like their best opportunity here on attack on the second point has been their first push, and everything after that has really been pretty average.
This is just a really tricky situation now for NoC. I mean, they don't have the time to draw these ultimates out of Masterminds, but it's not like they're even coming in with, you know, remotely close to the number of ultimates they would need to at least hold a candle to what Masterminds could do. You know, even just
here we go.
Yeah, Nanoblade combo straight into the mix, but withstood so far by a well-timed Transcendence, and actually it's NoC Predators withstanding 2 of those ultimates, so I have to go back on my words. They did it to use their few resources. Losing Sinai's mech, though, is big, because that is one of the extra things they would have had available. Kiki, though, will not be able to get back in his own mech, but it's not going to matter. He's already done plenty enough work.
Yeah, you see the res coming out, though, for now. But Sinai, I don't even know who got like res there. There you go. It was Special Kid, so not much time to work with, to be perfectly honest. NoC Predators in a very difficult situation. They have 1 fight left. They're still waiting on Ninja, who will probably just get there in the nick of time to try and fight this battle. He's not going to be able to pick anything. They're really just going to have to dive here and hope for the best. It's only Oily. It's going to be Snarler. You can see them starting to tick up. I just hope it ticks up in time.
They have at least even up those ultimates, and Ninja getting tacky as NoC able to open up with the tactical visor a little bit earlier than Masterminds were ready to respond to it. Ninja not quite able to land the pulse bomb on Cantus. They're still holding on to a few extra resources, and they need to use them now to tip the balance unequivocally in their favor before Masterminds can start getting those respawns, those resets as they come back up to full strength. Ninja needs to stay alive. In fact, maybe more crucially, Aesthetic needs to stay alive, and as they do so, they are able to consistently pick these Masterminds members now. This is what they're after. The tick goes through. That's at least one. And now, getting even more, the gong sounds. I don't know if there's enough time here for a reset. There's no one able to get onto the point. Even as Nellery and Color Hex had respawned, just not quite able to get there in time. Not Predators. It looked like it was almost impossible about 2 fights ago, but they got just enough ultimates out of Masterminds and banked up just enough of their own, and then executed just well enough to just barely cap the point.
It felt like they literally, if it was 5 seconds different, they wouldn't have had those ultimates up in time. They wouldn't have got that tac visor. The ultimates for NoC Predators literally ticked over just as that last hope, like all the dreams.
They were like
at
80% approaching the fight.
Exactly. They came up onto the top and they just came in just in the nick of time, and so close, but 2 overtime captures coming out from NoC Predators. Again, it can't go. If you are Masterminds, you go, if only.
Yeah, exactly. Like, both of those could have been full holds. You've also got to say, I mean, NoC Predators, it happened in the same way twice. You can't call that an accident.
No.
You know, even though it was a struggle. And look, but the funny thing about all that is, right, yeah, sure, they only capped in overtime, but Masterminds do have to really consider, what if they just don't cap at all and suddenly it goes the way of NoC Predators? We're evened up, we're on match point either way, and someone ends up taking it on map 4 no matter how you slice it. That's not where Masterminds want to find themselves, and letting a full cap go through really puts them at threat of that.
Can't help but feel that NoC Predators only know how to play when they're really under the thumb. When things are really bad, it's like having that mate who, when you want him to do stuff, is pretty average. He won't help you out. But when things are bad, like, all right, they're the first one there to help you.
Oh, yeah,
They wait to the last minute. They wait. They're like, normally, they're pretty average. But, yeah, when push comes to shove, they're there for you. And NoC Predators have been there for each other because they have time and time again showed us that they are good under pressure.
So you call him up, you're like, hey, mate, want to come around and play Xbox? And he's like, oh, nah. But then when you're like...
Nah, man, we've got the girlfriend.
But if you're like, my house burned down, he's like, I will build you a new one.
Exactly. That's what this is.
NoC Predators. Home builders. Maybe home wreckers.
Home wreckers, yeah, that's what it feels like, to be honest.
Well, certainly wrecking Mastermind's comfortable, cozy spot in their home of 4. I don't know where...
They're home on the moon, mate.
Yeah,
that's what they destroyed.
Sure.
This time around, they've swapped houses. NoC Predators on defense. Masterminds trying to push their way here through on attack. Again, everyone lasting for quite a while. Everyone's still up. NoC going to keep himself alive. Looked like he was going to go down for then. But we are quite a way into this fight, and everyone is still standing strong. This is what happens when you have so many tanks battle. It takes a long, long time. So long that the Riptide comes out in the very first battle.
That was so unfortunate because, I mean, that was what they really needed to actually start maybe closing out the fight. They'd withstood the pressure for so long, which is kind of the thing. You need to make sure that you don't crumble to that first push out of the quad tank. But then when you've withstood the pressure, you need something big and decisive that's going to push it back in your favor. The Riptide normally is that. So that fizzling out was really unfortunate. Kind of the beginning of the end for that. And in complete opposition to what we saw when NoC Predators were on the attack, this is now Masterminds looking to snowball straight on through to B.
Yeah, look at all these ultimates ready to go. If they can just stay alive for one more second, maybe.
Such luck.
Not going to be the case. NoC Predators are going to pick up 2 crucial tank kills to kick things off here on the second point of Horizon. And now NoC already ready to go with this Riptide as well. So they will hold this point. It could have been very, very different.
They do get a third, though, in all that. They commit, like, basically every ultimate they've got, but you've still got to consider that a success of some variety for Masterminds because, like I said, they still got the third. They also drew out the Transcendence and Valkyrie, very crucial tools, really on the defense here. You wanted to maybe use one and hold the other for the next fight. That's now not going to be an option. That being said, NoC Predators could just nip a fight in the bud with a well-placed Riptide or Pulse Bomb. That's really what they're going to be looking for here. Yeah,
fortunately for NoC, he didn't feel like he needed to use it during the middle of the battle. And this time, we can hear it coming out. And oh there you go.
Exactly
picks up 2. Very well done. That's exactly what they needed. And that will slow down this fight once again. NoC Predators able to clean up. Look at that. Oily coming through, picking up both the tanks there as well.
What a great name. Oily. Just like... does it mean like he's a slippery guy, or does it mean like he's always there a little bit oily? You know, like an Irishman, he wakes up early in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll never know.
You never, exactly. Exactly. But certainly I've never seen him be late.
Oh, man. Take a breath. Take a breather.
let's all just let that sink in for a moment.
This is what happens when you combine Kiwis and Aussies. It all goes downhill from here, to be perfectly honest. Just potentially like this fight as Paki throws out a huge ultimate, but Masterminds on attack looking much, much better. Kiki's found 2, and Colorhex finds the 3rd now. Not a great position to be in if you knock Predators. They're almost all the way there.
Yeah, speaking of 3rd, they have capped a 2nd, 3rd out as well now, and they're continuing to get kills. The only casualty so far is the extremely expensive Korean engineering of Kiki's mech, but it's not even really phasing Masterminds. They've still got tools here. They're waiting to get the sound barrier up, but they will be able to rotate into that. Special Kid is really just stalling here. This ultimate has to do a lot here. Colorhex already closing it out. The nano boost from Aesthetic wasn't really enough. That is a cap in convincing fashion. We do have to consider, though, last time we were at the same kind of time differential and time bank. Didn't go so well.
I don't want to throw out too many speculative
Assault can also draw.
Yeah, man, well. 429, surely 429's enough when all you need is one-third of a point. I couldn't possibly see how this could go anyway other than a victory for Masterminds. No one would ever draw from this position.
Are you like baiting fate right now? Like, is that what you're doing? Are you just fully trying to tempt the universe?
I don't actually want to draw because, like, I don't know if, firstly, my heart can take another draw.
Or Masterminds, yeah.
I suspect definitely. I'm sure they're all younger than me, much fitter than me, healthier than me, but if you draw twice after being over 4 minutes ahead and only needing 1/3 of a point, that can't be good. I'm sure it won't happen. I'm sure it won't happen.
Yeah, certainly the pulse gets pounding in that situation, though, and it's very different to the cool, calm, collected Masterminds we saw in the very opening stages of Ilios. Already, this series has tested them so far, and we're just kind of seeing that now getting extended further and further. They're certainly not in full panic mode, and I really don't ever expect them to go there realistically just because of the caliber of this team, but this is far, far closer than they, I think, expected it and, of course, would have wanted it to go.
And, of course, if it's going to go anyway, it's going to go with quad tank to kick things off an attack as well, because that definitely can't fail. That's never failed. Yeah. Certainly not today, certainly not 15 minutes ago.
Except for that one that one day when it did on Hollywood. But, I mean, also, it just succeeded on Horizon Lunar Colony, which is where we are. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We did see NoC Predators, though, adapt and withstand it last time we saw it happen on Hollywood when they saw it the second time. Maybe that will be the case again. Just not quite getting the damage out. Cyanide dead. Oily, quick to follow.
This should be it.
This is Masterminds playing what they know. That's what they were after. Very quick, clean 3rd, and that is not going to be a draw. And as it happens, that does also, technically speaking, secure a series win for them. But man, not a comfortable one. And by the way, there is still the opportunity for their map score to get seriously hurt if NoC can still eke out a win on an escort.
Yeah, if you come out, winning 2 maps and winning is almost the same as losing 3-2. Like, you get the same number of maps on the board, so that's less than great. The thing that I want to take away from this is how well NoC Predators as a whole have stacked up against Masterminds. Yeah. It's actually been impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, just off the back of this alone, you've really got to start considering, like, NoC Predators are a team we should be seeing now when we get to playoffs time. And in that, or maybe a team we can expect to maybe get some upsets here, really take it to some of what we consider to be, you know, the top 4, the teams we're expecting to not just make playoffs, but semifinals beyond that. Hey, maybe NoC Predators are, when push comes to shove, going to be a team that actually kind of works their way in there in lieu of maybe someone like Masterminds or Alter Ego or like, dare I say it, Sydney Drop Bears. I doubt that would be the case. It's a bit too bold a prediction even for me, but still, certainly that's what they're setting themselves up for here.
That's could be a pain for them, Jordan.
Yeah, well, this really sets things up pretty interestingly for that 3-4-5 position where Alter Ego, Jam Gaming, and now NoC Predators obviously going to be all fighting over that position. I still think Masterminds is going to be sitting up there fairly safely, at least in 2. Again, we have to wait and see how they go up against Sydney Drop Bears later on this week. But a little bit better there from Masterminds, being able to close that one out on Horizon Lunar Colony. Does that allay the fears a little bit? I don't think it has for you, Pixie. You still seem to be a little bit concerned.
It's really not. I mean, I do see a world here where NoC Predators take a map off still at the very end of the series. And I mean, even if even if it goes the way of Masterminds now, they have had an uncomfortably close series for what is still only their second match, actually, of AU Contenders here, with an even harder one coming up tomorrow, you know? I mean, God has bled, right? Like, even if it's only a minor deity, I don't know. But even so, this is not comfortable for Masterminds, and it is early in the competition. There are weaknesses here that other teams are going to pounce on, and we could just see them getting picked apart by, like Carrion here.
Well, let's see how close this series actually is going to end up as we do head into map number 4. Find out what map that is going to be. Now, Dorado, it is going to be my favorite. Unfortunate for you, Ben. You don't get Junkertown.
Yeah, well, I'm done. I'm just going to walk off. It doesn't matter.
That's all right. We've got 2 clusters here anyway. It'll be a better class for the final map anyway.
Yeah, see ya. See, I'm really torn. Like, I like the music on Dorado, but I like how just bonkers Junkertown is.
Yeah, I think Dorado can be pretty bonkers as well.
It's more joyous.
The reality is that Jordan actually doesn't get out at night, so for him coming to Dorado, it's like, oh, cool, it's a party. Is this what real people do? And he's just
party where people kill each other.
Yeah, well, there was a party there before
that's
there
how
was
Mexican
the fight.
parties are. It's just
okay. Well, that's a bit extreme. I don't know if I want to go to that one, I'll be honest. Maybe that's why I don't go out much.
Yeah, like Junkertown is probably actually safer. Like the irradiated Australian outback may actually be safer than a Mexican street party.
I just got to remember to wear my sunnies and my sunscreen.
yeah. Otherwise, the sun is your greatest enemy.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, map number 4. This is where Masterminds really need to close this one out pretty confidently and at least secure that 3-0, should I say, victory. Make sure they get as many maps out of this one as they can.
Yeah, it's for me, it's kind of one of those mood setters where you can come out of this one as Masterminds and go, well, you know, it felt like maybe we dropped the ball there on Hollywood, but overall, we take away a lot of positives out of this. We take away 3 map wins, etc. The flip side of that is you go, wow, maybe Masterminds is not the team that we thought they were.
Yeah, and on the Mastermind side of it, like they've got to sit there, like no matter how this goes, the reaction they have to have has got to be, haha, oops. Like, they need to really take this one on the chin, like, to the extreme. Even if they're like kind of lying to themselves, they've kind of got to just take this one on the chin and just mentally bounce back, as well as, of course, bounce back in terms of their overall game performance, which I guarantee you they will be doing. No matter what happens in Dorado, immediately after this, Masterminds are going to hit the books, and maybe the gym, and maybe the bottle.
Yeah, in that order. Actually, it's probably the best order.
That's the ideal order.
That's the order.
Any other order would produce bad results.
Yeah. Don't hit the bottle first, because not
'Cause,
so great.
Yeah, then you don't actually remember anything you studied, and you throw up at the gym.
Did I even go to the gym? That's the real problem. I can't remember. If you drink,
I should have written it down in my book.
Yeah, exactly. Masterminds on defense, NoC Predators out here on attack. Look, we have seen a lot so far in this matchup, and there have been a number of surprises. What do you think the result's going to be here, Pixie? What is the result of this map? How far does each team get?
I'm going to give you 2 answers.
Okay.
I'm going to give you what I think the result is going to be, and I'm going to give you what I low-key want the result to be.
Okay.
I think the result is going to be Masterminds take it. I think whatever was going on, they do look like they've just hit their stride a little bit more. NoC Predators being able to rebuff them has not been a consistent factor here. I do see Masterminds just, they started the better of these 2 teams, and I see that eventually being reflected in this map. I kind of want NoC Predators to win.
Yeah.
Just to shake things up, right?
I
like just to make Masterminds quiver in their boots before their game tomorrow.
For me, I think, honestly, NoC Predators get stopped before point 2, but there is real potential here for me to be entirely wrong and for NoC Predators to pounce here on Masterminds. And we'll start things off with Taki over on the Tracer. And we've seen a lot of good Tracer play today. A lot of it from Ninja, though.
Yeah. I mean, Taki has had, a decent amount in his own right, make no mistake. Special Kid getting cracked down upon on the side, and Colorhex catching Oily through the mix there as well. That's not what NoC Predators were after. They were just on the cusp of kind of pushing Masterminds back from that initial position, but having now not broken that just loses a lot of time for NoC Predators.
Yeah, it's time that we've seen they really can't afford to lose. Maybe it's when they're under the pump and it's right down to the wire and, oh, overtime's in, we can win now. Finally, we have to do it. Maybe that's the only time they seem to work, but life's a lot easier if you can get some time in that time bank when you push your way through. They're going to give it a bell this time around. Dowsu's been resurrected. That'll help Masterminds out. Oily getting forced back, going to stay alive, trying to fight out his counterpart there, and another Winston Special Kid does get dropped.
Wonderful.
And, well, there's one-on-one. Nellery does go down. This potentially here is the opportunity that NoC Predators needs.
It's still a tricky one. I mean, the payload hasn't really been moving in among all this because, first of all, it was Nellery on it, and while the team was just kind of busy dealing with him, Colorhex was having free reign. Even though they killed Nellery, by the time that happened, the rest of NoC Predators were so vulnerable that the kills just started coming through left, right, and center. Masterminds have already got the right reses in to reset their members. NoC Predators are still waiting for respawns.
Yeah, that's it felt like maybe they had the same thought I had, that was like, oh, we've got a chance, when in reality, that probably wasn't the case, and they just made that fight go a little bit longer than it needed to be. Oh, Colorhex going to go down to Ninja there, so that is a big pick. Combine that with Cantus going down, NoC Predators going strong. Oily does get dropped. What can we see from Noz? Dragonblade ready to go. Is now the time, or do we hold it back?
Yeah, you definitely hold it while self-destructs are a factor. But now that that's off the table, maybe he looks for the angle. Ninja's still up and fighting in this one. Indeed, Ninja, I mean, judging by the start of the fight, is very much on the warpath here. Now trying to close out and Taki on the backside. They're just kind of scrapping under this bridge, but it's starting to go the way of NoC Predators. Masterminds don't really have this area on lockdown. They're just trying to force NoC Predators to stay there until they can maybe get set up to do something there, but no such luck. The payload now passed there as Noz looking to go way far forward, maybe a bit too far forward, unfortunately. Does get Colorhex, but gets stopped up pretty soon after that.
Yeah, Taki getting forced back all the way onto the wrong side of the map here. Ninja does manage to take down Cantus.
That's big.
So this is a big play, right at you say. Nellery has gone down. They're on the point, they're pushing forward. Surely this is the point where Masterminds has to fall back.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. That catch onto Cantus was so great as he was going for the res on Colorhex, because then Colorhex was back up. He was chunked out. He had no support sitting there to deal with him, to heal him up, rather. And then Nellery got picked off as well. He had no front line. Still had to try and go for the Deadeye with absolutely nothing to keep him alive through it. Died straight after that. I mean, that was all just Ninja kind of snowballing that one by his own hand. Unfortunately, though, that hand's reach only extends so far, and Taki kind of smacks it.
Yeah, we'll see if the guys from Masterminds can actually force this one back right here. They're going to have the high ground. They're going to try and hold this point. Sinai ready to go with the self-destruct. We'll see if that pops over the top shortly. Ninja, how much damage has Ninja done today with his pulse bomb? Not this time around, however.
And also nothing out of the self-destruct from Sinai. Not even really enough space created by it, but they are still relatively underway, at least by Noz's hand here. Colorhex, though, the catch onto Ninja is a big one. And that does mean Nellery can just kind of get aggressive once again with the Primal Rage, trying to stall this out. And once again, I mean, you speak of stall, it's Transcendence here from Special Kid. NoC Predators aren't exactly gaining anything with all this. They're just kind of not losing yet, but eventually that's going to stop, and you do just start losing the regular way with no real distance gained on the payload, and suddenly a lot less ultimates in the bank.
Yeah, way less ultimates in the bank. We saw a couple of whiff ones coming out there. As you said, that self-destruct, if you're not going to get kills, you at least need to clear the area, and to be fair, a Smelly Fart would have done a better job than that did. So NoC Predators going to try and reset as Pixie. Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Oh, I thought I could hold it after all of that. There we go. There's a pick straight away into Aesthetic. And look at that. Masterminds again. All they need to... Well, they actually, to be fair, they do use 2 ultimates. I thought they only needed to use 1.
Yeah, but I mean...
Slows things down, man.
Yeah, you still don't mind, right? I mean, that's now how many just false starts for NoC Predators on their own offense. Doesn't matter how close they're getting to their ultimates if they're not actually getting to take fights, right? And it just seems every time Masterminds have something else they can throw at them, someone set up in a flank that can get a pick, something that just stops NoC Predators from even getting into position, let alone executing.
A lot of time has been wasted now for NoC Predators. 1:22 on the clock. A couple of fights left to go. And here we go. This one is going to be crucial. Ninja actually forced back, not managing to find any kills so far. And both Cantus and Dalsu are ready to go. Look at that. Taki finds 2. Is traded back, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, especially not with that Transcendence still in Dalsu's pocket. Noz knows he can't really commit the Dragon Blade just yet. And Cantus able to res Taki back in the fray anyway. I mean, it's just unfortunate, right? Like, NoC Predators even committing ultimates early into that. Once again, Masterminds just this super cheap fight win.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even a real fight. It's like you come in and straight away they're forced back. Cantus will go down finally. Ninja picking up 1 kill here as the Widowmaker. Special Kid actually going to take out Taki as well. This is the opportunity they need. And that does They're going to push on through. This is good.
Dalsu had to commit that Transcendence as well there, which means there's now a defensive tool that isn't there. It's just the Valkyrie. Masterminds continuing to rain fire from above as they catch Color Hex. Now Kiki's mech. No self-destruct to try and reset it from him. They are just looking to preserve ultimates. They do get one more fight before this cap goes over, and it is going to be a fight in overtime by the looks of things. Masterminds is trying to give themselves every opportunity to win it. Yeah,
once again, the NoC Predators are going to have to do the hard yards underneath the clock of, well, if you're off, you're done. So it makes life, so much more difficult here. And look at all these ultimates ready from Masterminds. It really should make all the difference. Onto the point they push.
Oh no,
they want to force them off. And Cyanide, as you say, straight away goes down, nods with the Dragon Blade, actually doesn't manage to find anyone.
Double with the dead eye.
That's it. GG.
That's, yeah, absolutely got to be it, especially with Noz still just swinging at clean air. Color Hex even gets 2 more just with the left click for good measure. Boom, shakalaka. That is a defense.
And look, at least I got one prediction right today, and that was that was NoC Predators getting stopped just before the end of that second point. But to be fair, we do see that a lot.
I mean, I think both of our crystal balls have been a bit broken today with how these predictions have gone. Like, what's the saying? You know, a broken clock is still right twice a day.
I like it when they say it's still right once a day, because that's when the joke is wrong, and that's even more funny.
But here's the thing, is like, what if your clock is broken because actually, like, both the hands fell off? Then it's never right.
It's true.
Like, it depends on what kind of broken. Really, I feel like that saying is like a very specific kind of broken clock.
Like my watch that's practically run out of battery now, and every time I look at it, it's always wrong. There's nothing on the screen, so that doesn't work either, right?
It's wrong none times a day. It's correct when the lights are out and you couldn't read a clock anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the only time.
Do you think this is hygienic? Like,
really
I think that these fish...
That's just a Mexican party for you, dude.
Yeah, I think the fish should be on ice, to be honest. That's just like, I'm not a seafood expert, right? But something's a little bit smelly over there.
Especially with the Mexican sun. I mean, that's what cleared it out. It wasn't a bad fart. It was just rotten fish smell. Rotten fish smell.
It's actually that
those vegetables look pristine.
Yeah. They look good.
Those look way better than what I get at my local supermarket. There's some supermarkets that do really nice stuff, and then there's this one supermarket. This is a call-out post for Countdown. They just have this really manky produce, like just like half-rotted bell peppers. You go there in the winter.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that.
It's just well, we're not sponsored by Countdown, are we?
It's okay. We don't go live in New Zealand, right? This is.
Yeah, no, we don't actually get Twitch in New Zealand. It's a bit rough, eh?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Look. Surely, Masterminds can take it from here. And to be fair, if they do, they've had 2 pretty good maps in a row.
And that's something they've got to at least be pleased about, right? This is still within striking distance, though, funnily enough, for both teams. I do have to consider that, because there is the very real opportunity for NoC Predators to actually stop this up somewhere in the courtyard, ideally under that sort of initial bridge.
They proved they can defend, haven't they? So let's see if it's the case here on Dorado.
Need to go now. I mean, they've set up for this aggressive defense, but they need to actually do something with it. They just dive in, kind of love tap Masterminds, and then back right off, taking casualties on the way. Definitely not what NoC Predators was setting up for, and I think just a little bit timid on that almost, not quite willing to, really go all in.
Yeah, that's the problem. You
either go all in or back right off.
Exactly, and they're getting caught in that middle ground. Look at this. It has cost them dearly.
It's like what they say, don't half-ass 2 things, whole-ass 1 thing.
I like it. Or don't do anything at all.
Yeah, just don't do anything.
Which is my mantra, to be
like your broken watch, it doesn't do anything.
Exactly. And
no times a day.
Yeah. If you can prove that you're just bad, then, people won't expect much of you, and that's precisely how I like to live. Tucky out here on the tracer. A pulse bomb ready to go. Not even needing to use it yet. Look at this.
Casual, man.
Yeah, very, very easy. And I think they're going to be able to pick up the rest of the supporter as well. Gone. Yeah, Special Kid goes down. Ninja goes down. 5:10 on the clock now. And look, potential here for this to be a very, very quick map number 4.
So far forward, and not getting punished for it either. Getting Noz now trying to follow up an Oily. Sinai is at least there to protect his fellow tank, but I mean, that was uncomfortable, and NoC Predators are still licking their wounds while the cart marches forward. And by the way, I said if they did it, they could, always first hold in the courtyard. That was about as close to the opposite of that as you could get.
Yeah, that was definitely not a first hold in the courtyard.
Nope, I've seen first holds in the courtyard.
Still actually waiting for a first hold at all here from NoC Predators,
really
as they are getting destroyed.
Well, they can't get a handhold because it's all too oily.
That's it.
There we go. Cracked the mystery. They need it like... No, I shouldn't say that. That'll get taken the wrong way.
It's not been great. It's not been great. But if you're a Masterminds GC fan, if you're a Masterminds GC player, I
you're having a great day.
You go, look, can you stop talking about map number 2, boys and girls, because we're having a pretty good map 3 and 4. Can you just give us a break? And to be fair, that's precisely what's going on here. The potential for this to be the last fight. Here comes Color Hex with the Dragon Blade, but no one going to get picked up for now. Ultimate's coming out across the board. He doesn't need to do the work though, Pixie.
Yeah, there's enough from the rest of the teammates. I mean, how often does this happen? Nellery just going left, right, and center, though. Ninja does have something to say about all this. The respawns are closer for NoC Predators. That must be considered. Bunny Blaster for Kiki to neck Ninja. Totally swings that one back around. Could you believe it? Now straight back in the mech. The numbers are climbing back up now for Masterminds. NoC Predators close respawns don't help you if you're all dead. And Noz did not quite have a toenail close enough to the point. Well, yeah, forget about map 2. Masterminds are still top dog here.
They certainly are, and to be fair, I'm just going to calm my farm and stop, you know, loading it here onto Masterminds to say, we saw probably 2 and a bit really good maps coming out from them. Again, though, if you're a NoC Predators fan, I want to say to them, there's a lot to take from this. There's a lot that you can say, you know what, I think my team's going pretty well. If you're a player for NoC Predators, Jordan, you got to feel good about this.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, particularly the addition of Ninja has looked very, very good throughout that entire series, and nobody seems to really know where this guy's come from.
He's a ninja, Jordan.
Exactly.
I'm not sure what else you want to know.
Well, I want to know if we're going to see some more of that throughout the next few matches that we see NoC Predators play, and I certainly hope we will. But obviously, talking about Masterminds, that last map, a little bit more what we expected to see for pretty much the entire series.
Yeah, they've really made NoC Predators fight for every inch. I mean, they spent most of that map just not getting a leg up in fights. You know, it was a lot of what we were seeing actually on Ilios and certain times where just, you know, like individual members were getting picked. They were just never getting opportunities to really go in for these fights. They were never getting a chance to set up for them. It was just getting nipped in the bud constantly. Somewhere along the way, Masterminds kind of lost their ability to do that, but we saw them regaining it there on Dorado. So with that in mind, I think it's maybe even fair to call some of what happened in the series a hiccup, not necessarily a big issue. Certainly something that Masterminds want to make sure never happens again, but it might not be as devastating as we were maybe making it out to be.
No, definitely not. I mean, they still have come away with 3 good, solid maps. They haven't still technically lost a map. Really, there is just that one tie, which, I mean, at the end of the day, a tie is not that big of a deal.
No, it's not the end of the world. I think it was more so for us, the way in which it occurred, right, that was surprising. When you've got 4:13 on the clock, you come in quad tank that just worked so very well the last time you did the exact same attack, and it just doesn't work, and then something else doesn't work, and then something else doesn't work. So I think for me, that was the bit that went, oh, and you have to take a step back and say, what's happening here?
Another thing to mention throughout that entire series is that Yuki wasn't playing, obviously a core member of that Masterminds roster. Do you feel like that kind of maybe would have made a bit of a difference there for them?
I think that's a really 50-50 call. I would actually lean in this case on the side of yes, just because it does seem that maybe what was going wrong, it was like cleanliness things. It's things that are often a result of you know, how tight communication is, and you do always have to consider when there is a different player that communication becomes a significant factor. Some teams it's just not an issue at all, and sometimes for other teams it is, and it can just be so like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it can just be like a team that is fine no matter who is on the roster, but then like one particular change up. And I think we do have to consider that maybe that was a factor. But also maybe on the other side of that, I mean, we did see, you know, a different lineup coming out of NoC Predators here, and they didn't seem to be suffering from those same issues. So also maybe Yuki not being there had nothing to do with it. Yeah,
you can't really know unless you are part of that team, which of course we are not. That's 2 matches done and dusted though for today. We've still got 1 more coming up. Just to remind you how things have gone so far. Alter Ego did get the 4-0 over Surge. Masterminds just picking up 3-0 over NoC Predators after drawing map number 2 on Hollywood. Now, Pixie, you're going to again be departing us for map 3. I want to get your quick thoughts here before you leave. For Legacy and Serenity, what's your opinion on how this is going to go?
Make my thoughts very quick.
Well,
Legacy 4-0.
That's very quick.
Yep. I guarantee you I'm going to be wrong, but I wanted to give them to you quickly.
All right. Well, that's an interesting sort of a call. I think that's a pretty bold prediction as well, given the performances that we've seen from both of these 2 teams so far throughout Contenders.
It's going to be big.
Yeah. In all seriousness, I do see Legacy winning, by the way, but maybe not necessarily a 4-0.
Look, but if we come back to this one in an hour from now, you're going to be looking real good on the social, mate. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, if someone can clip it, maybe we'll see a very happy Pixie later or a very grumpy Pixie later. Let's find out, though. First, we have to head to a quick break, but we will be back